and so forth, and cruise ships and stuff up here to the north. I'm more focused now. I'm doing a lot of research. There's other heart transplant places here in Fignon and Milot, where they admit doing heart transplants. Here it is, Milot, right here. So like Sacré-Cœur, it's called. So there's already 5 or 6 heart transplants being done up here right now. I think the Laura Silsby thing is going to be, well, first we'll do the hospital ships. I think hospital ships are going to be your excellent surgeons teaching in-country surgeons how to do these transplants. And the idea is to push it out so that you can make money from every country doing these surgeries. Okay, that's the idea of the touring hospital ships. And this is an old idea that has been written about with sending the body bags back with contraband inside them. So Haiti, I'm going to say Africa is going to be the kind of source for the Middle East for organs. Kosovo is kind of the source for Europe and NATO. But Haiti's kind of this different thing. It's not only a source of organs, but it's also a source of lots of testing. You're going to see waves and waves of virus and vaccine testing, and you're going to have these body bags being sent in 2 directions. So body bags are going to be going to the CDC, where they're going to be doing the slicing. Okay, so I think it's both of those things. It's both a source of organs and a source of research to see how these vaccine virus combinations affected when the victim dies. And again, we have Kathy O'Brien saying that, she witnessed the drug running and virus testing. So here's Petit Frere Histoire. As I mentioned, Max Macoby is on the board. His dad has got a connection with Elefantis and Silsby. I think keep following this money. I haven't gone through all of this, but there is documentation out there for all the USAID spending. I still think there's $6 billion missing. Here's the Chicago program. This is Homan Square, where I believe they're doing the organ harvesting. I think they're doing torture there, and then finding out whole families to be putting on a target list, just like they used to do in Vietnam. Then they're organ harvesting. But this is the guy, Nelson Brickham, I mentioned before. He's a Yale anthropologist, and he came up with this incredible system for Vietnam called the Phoenix Program. Here's the book that Doug Valentine wrote, the Phoenix Program. And it was about, let's say each one of these is a separate agency a separate government agency. Each agency, let's say that was the VA, and this was the Food and Drug Administration, this is infectious diseases, and this is HUD, and this is Educational Loans, Department of Education, and this is EPA, all with a target list, so that there was this constant interruption and disruption of these people's lives. For instance, all the things that they would do that they would normally go to the government for were disrupted. They were put on the waiting list. They were shoved to the back of the line and so forth if they were thought to be not a supporter of the regime, the regime that the CIA put in Vietnam. And then there's all sorts of weird experiments where they took political prisoners and put electrodes in their head while they were still alive. All these CIA doctors were down there. Just this history, but it's repeating itself over and over and over. This repeated itself in Iran with Savak. Everywhere there's this secret police, they teach this same sort of thing because they keep on forwarding this agenda of maximizing the ROI for the topple. You see it over and over again, and this is now being done with 50. The idea in Vietnam was we'll have a torture center in every province, and that's like our fusion centers here in the United States. We have now I'm not saying there's not a lot of great people on the fusion center that don't realize the ulterior purpose. There's a lot of state and local police that think the fusion center is great, but I'm talking about the people at the top are using the fusion center to coordinate this activity, like Brickham's Phoenix Program, this constant takedown of people. And we see that in the United States with the VA waiting list. We see the 22 suicides, and now there's 22 people that die per day waiting for organ transplants. It's just an odd coincidence. So I think there's a program going on in Baltimore to support Johns Hopkins as well, and I think this one's going to support like Loyola Medical Center, one of those large medical centers that does transplants in Chicago. I think there's going to be another one in Cleveland that we don't know about. So I'm going to say that Laura Silsby, this sex trafficking is only part of the story. She's transporting kids up to this northwest part of Haiti because they're organ donors. There's going to be hospitals over here. I'm going to bet they're going to be right over here on the northeast corner of Dominican Republic. She's taking sick kids that are about ready to die because they want to do that live transfer. Now the beautiful kids go somewhere else. They fly over to St. James Island, Jeffrey Epstein's island. But the 33 kids, they were going for organ harvest, is what I think. Or they can use them as sex slaves until they're ready for harvesting. Both of those are true. But these kids are sick, and that's what leads me to believe that they've been monitored all through their sickness. So there's a CIA agent there, Conway. And the flip side of this is, well, they're going to die anyway. So we're just giving new life to another family, So there's all these rationalizations that go along with this, but that's what I believe is going on. So, and I definitely believe that operation is going on right now in the United States with Operation Underground Railroad. And I think if you look at the original articles of incorporation for Underground Railroad, and you look at Tim Ballard, I think it's an empty field, in Utah. It's a sniper team, it's a sniper team that comes in, takes out the political opposition, and harvests their organs. This is kind of like a double sting. Okay, you have an officer like this, as the old arresting officer in Watergate, Carl Schaffler, but you hire these